Mario Party Superstar is finally out, and oh boy is it good. It features amazing boards from the N64 games and about 100 classic minigames from the entire series. Basically, it is the perfect Mario Party game, meaning we do not need those old games anymore. But wait a minute though, before you throw those games in the trash or sell them at GameStop for like $2, maybe, just maybe we should make sure those remade minigames are actually better than the original. So let's compare all of the Mario Party Superstars minigames, shall we? Mushroom Mix-Up features new shapes for easier accessibility options for people with color blindness. So if more people can play this game, point goes to the reboot. In Bombs Away, it just felt like the gravity was lower, or maybe the game was slower. I don't know, I just actually prefer the retro. In Shy Guy Says, you now push L and R instead of pushing A and B, which makes way more sense. Why didn't the N64 game work like this? Point goes to the reboot. Crazy Cutters is pretty much the same game, to be honest, so this one is a tie. In Tipsy Tourney, it feels like the game isn't as slow as it was before, but it's still kind of boring, so let's go with a tie. I remember Dizzy Dancing to last about 3 seconds in the original game, but now you actually have to collect multiple music notes, so point obviously goes to the reboot. Bumper Balls is still as fun as it was before, but there's no Shy Guy in the ice level in the remake, and the bouncing sound effects are kind of bad, so point goes to the retro. I do admit that all of those beautiful light effects in Hot Rope Jump are actually super cool looking, but way too distracting for my small brain, so point goes to the retro. Tread Carefully used to be called Shell Shock, which sounds way cooler, let's be real, but the minigame is still the same, so it's a tie. Bumper Balloon Cars is a minigame that is way too short, and it hasn't changed at all, so it's a tie. In Sneak and Shore, the chain jump is super aggressive, just like it was in the original game, but I do think the whole environment looks way cooler now. Point goes to the reboot. Mecha Marathon is all about mashing buttons, so it's a tie. Slot Car Derby is such a fun game, but sadly the characters are now inside of the car and not the car itself with their big heads as they used to be. It's way less charming. Point goes to the retro. Bowser's Big Blast has been remade way too many times, and it's just pure luck. I don't like it, I'm sorry. But I do have to say that it's funny how the characters pray after choosing a lever. They pray that the bomb doesn't blow up on them. It's so dramatic. Point goes to the reboot. Roll Call is a fun game, but now we can cheat, and that's not legit. Still, the reboot is amazing looking, so I'm giving it the point. Not much has changed in Honeycomb Havoc, but the fruits look way tastier in the Superstars version. Yummy! I'm giving the point to the reboot. So Snowball Summit has some amazing snow animation now. I mean, take a good look at where people walk, it's beautiful. Reboot. Ice Rink Risk is as fun as it was before, so you know what, it's gonna be a tie. Bounce and Trounce is like the Mario Party 3 version of Bumper Balls, except it's way less fun. And you know what, the remake doesn't make it more fun, so it's a tie. The piranha plants you hold in Storm Chasers are so cute now. Oh, I love them, they're way prettier. Point goes to the reboot. In Mush Pit, when you grab it, the Mega Mushroom theme now plays, and that's pretty cool. It makes it instantly better actually. Point goes to the reboot. In Cheep Cheep Chase, the scary fish has been replaced by a big Cheep Cheep, which is way less scarier looking. And the minigame is also super slow now, so yeah, they made this one boring, so retro. Chip Shot Challenge is pretty much the same game as it was before, just with HD graphics instead of a cartoony look, so it's a tie. Rockin' Raceway is pretty much the same, but I do have to admit that the new one looks kinda better, so reboot. In Messy Memory, you can cheat now, but you wouldn't do that, okay? That wouldn't be legit. Still, super fun game. It's a tie. Trace Race looks prettier to me in the Superstars version. I think it's because the pencil lines, they seem thicker, so maybe it's easier for me to win. I don't know. Reboot. Who knew books could be so much fun? Book Squirm is pretty much the same game now as it was before. It was fun, it's still fun. It's a tie. Paths of Burial used to have some screen scrolling happening when you reach some of the parts, probably due to the GameCube having to load the next area, but now the Switch is too powerful, so it doesn't have that screen scrolling effect anymore, and I kinda missed it. So because of that, point goes to the retro. Dinger Derby is pretty much the same game, and they even kept the funny balloons at the end. So yeah, it's a tie. Leaf Leap is the same game, but the effects while you are in space, they do look amazing, and the updated graphics actually make the whole experience way better. Reboot! The penguins in Pushy Penguins are so cute looking in HD. Reboot! You know what I like about Coney Island? Ice cream. And the new textures make it look so yummy. Point to the reboot. The colors that they used in the original Bill Blasters were always super distracting to me, so I actually prefer the reboot. Nightlight Fright is a truly spooky minigame in HD. Look at this, it's so dark, it's so gloomy, and the chain jump is really menacing. Reboot. Later Skater is the same game as before, but it looks so much better now with the new graphics, especially the ice rink. Wow. I'm giving the point to the reboot. I do feel like the postman in Catch You Later is actually moving faster now, making this minigame more difficult, and I'm all for that. I love it. Reboot. Trapeze Artist is a way too short minigame. Should have been a best of 3 or something, cause it's done in like 5 seconds. Tie. What Goes Up actually looks very cool in HD, making the sky look sick. Reboot. The controls in Snow World are actually different now because of the layout of the Pro controller compared to the GameCube controller. I used to be able to tap super fast, but now I kinda slide my thumb around on the buttons, and I think I prefer the old school layout, but maybe I just need to get used to the new one. Anyways, point goes to the retro. So Monty's Revenge was always very boring to me, and it still is today. So it's a tie. The Final Countdown is a simple game of survival, but the graphics make it look way more nerve-wracking now, cause you truly don't want to fall down. Reboot. Poke Pummel is a simple mashing minigame. There's no difference. Tie. Manor of Escape. It looks kinda crispier in HD, but that's it really. There's not much added to it, so it's a tie. Goomba Spotting is a fun minigame, but it's literally the same. So yeah, it's a tie. Flash Forward actually looks really good in HD, so I'm giving the point to the reboot. Rapid River Race. That one is confusing me, because it's actually an HD game from the Wii U era, and it looks like 10 times better on the Switch. What was Nintendo doing back then? Or how did it improve so much? That's incredible! Reboot! In Facelift, we can no longer see Super Bowser 64 in the background art, and that kinda makes me sad. But the new background is still kind of okay, and the game plays super well. So you know what? I'm giving it to the reboot. The new HD lightning effects in Dark and Crispy are sweet! Reboot. Pit Bus is super scarier looking now with the new lightning effects, and it's dark and it's spooky, and yeah, it's the reboot obviously. Piranha's Pursuit felt more balanced in the N64 days. If you avoid all of the obstacles, then the plant has no way of catching up to you, so that's kinda dumb. Retro. Tug of War comes with a warning not to use your palm to rotate the stick to avoid breaking your hand or breaking the controller. Don't tell me what to do. I want to win, I'll do what I want. And because of the joystick of the Switch being more comfy than the joystick of the N64, well, point goes to the reboot. Archer Eyeball is strongly unbalanced. Okay, the Archer will almost always win because the computers are complete idiots. But it was also the case back then, so yeah, it's a tie. So Look Away is pretty much the same as it was before, but back then it used big heads instead of just frames with people in it. And look at those big heads, they're way more cute. So retro. Tidal Tusk looks way better than the original, but it's not fun at all. So, tie. Is it me, or is Boulder Ball super slow now? Sure, the boulders are bigger, but they're so slow, so retro. Coconut Conk looks way better in the remake, and it plays better too. So you know what? Reboot. Spotlight Swim hasn't changed a bit. It's still the same game as it was before. Tie. Same thing for Hide and Sneak. It's literally the same game, so how can I compare them? It's a tie. Goal looks way cooler now and plays better too. Reboot. In Squared Away, the tiles are way better looking in Mario Party Superstars. So reboot. You know what? 2-Bit or Lose It has actually lost it totally. All tubes are now black instead of character colored like the old school days. This is unacceptable. Loss of detail, I don't like it. Retro. Is it me, or is everything spinning slower in Pogo A Go Go? it makes the pogo players win every time. Retro. Tackle Takedown looks really cool, but this minigame is way too short, so meh, reboot. Skewer Scurry is yet again another Wii U HD minigame that looks way much better on Switch. At this point, I'm wondering if Mario Party 10 was actually HD or if Nintendo was just playing around. Reboot. Bobsled Run looks way better. And the boost panels, they actually give you more speed, or at least you feel the speed now, so I love it. Reboot. Handcar Havoc looks good, but it plays pretty much the same as before, so you know what, it's a tie. Dungeon Dash looks way better now, and it makes the minigame actually more fun. Reboot. Speed Hockey has a bigger ice rink now, and it's kinda slower. You know what? I don't like that new version. It's not that good. Retro. In the old school N64 version of Balloon Burst, all we had to do was to mash A and B. But now we have to watch out for this little gauge underneath to put more air in the balloon. So there's actually more to this remake. I like it. Reboot. In Cake Factory, instead of just holding down the A button to keep the cake in your hand, you now have to push A first and then you have to push A again to drop it. Doubling the A presses for no reason? Nah. Retro. Sky Pilots still controls like garbage. Except now the planes don't have faces no more. Meh. Retro. I do feel that Etch and Catch was actually easier in the retro version. Is it me or did you move faster? I don't know, there's something off about this remake. So, retro. Picking Panic features the same gameplay, but it looks way better now. So obviously, reboot. Well, in Eats a Pizza, you kinda go Dungeon Duels is such a fun minigame, one of the best actually, and the reboot makes it look way better. Same thing for Reverse a Bomb, this game is looking better than ever, so you know what, reboot. Burn Style is yeah, it's boring. Tie. Rocky Road looks so much better now, and that helps out a lot. Reboot. Let's be honest, in Paint Misbehaving, the paint looks way better in the reboot, with all of the gooey effect and everything. It's a point for the reboot. TikTok Hop is such a fun game, and the clock looks good in both versions, so you know what, it's a tie. In Vine With Me, the screen is now more zoomed in, making it easier to tell where the vines are. It's way better now. Reboot. Motor Rooter is a fun minigame, and the speed effect is pretty good on the Switch version, so because of that, reboot. Mass Meteor takes place in space, and space looks so good in HD. Reboot. Spin Doctor is pretty much identical to the old one, so it's a tie. Same thing for Hammer Drop, it's the same game. Tie. Castaways was a bad minigame in the first Mario Party, and you know what? It's still a bad minigame. Tie. I'm not a fan of Parasol Plummet, it's kind of boring, you just collect coins and meh, it's a tie. In X-Ray Payday, the jump to widescreen actually helps space out the boxes, making it easier to tell which boxes have coins and which have things you don't want to get. Reboot. I feel like spinning the sand around in Quicksand Cache is actually super slow now, so I miss the retro. River Raiders looks way better now, but to me it was easier to see everything back when the water was super blue, so point goes to the retro. Money Belts is exactly the same game. Tie. Puddle Battle is also the same thing. Tie. Catapult is an easy minigame, and getting all 20 coins is a total joke. Tie. Winner or Dinner is a simple, unfun coin collecting game. So yeah, it's a tie. Beach Volley was super fun back then, and it's still as fun as ever. And it looks amazing now, so yeah, reboot. Ice Hockey is a fun game, but the graphics don't actually improve it, so it's a tie. Shell Soccer looks the same again, so it's a tie. Mario Puzzle Party plays the same, but let's be real, it looks way better in the reboot version. So you know what? Point goes to reboot. Blockstar is super hard to control for me. I'm bad in both versions of this game, so you know what? Tie. I really dig the new art style of stick and spin, as colors are way more popping. I like it. Reboot. Well, the results are in. Out of the 100 minigames in Mario Party Superstars, 82 of those are either as good as the previous ones or better. So basically, I think we can agree that Mario Party Superstars is a masterpiece. It's the best Mario Party game Nintendo made in over a decade, and hopefully we get more boards and even more minigames as a DLC of some sort. That'd be pretty good. Thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click the link in the description to go buy your holiday ornament if you want to be able to put them in your tree this year for the holidays. And as for me, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!